Good morning. It is Tuesday. It has already been like, I guess it's just life, right? It just doesn't ever stop. But today we're doing a get ready with me because I haven't done one in a minute. I haven't done one since like Christmas, and even then it was like festive. So let's do it. Plagued by Roombas. Hold please. Hold please. I just self-tanned, so I'm trying not to move a lot. Jeremy just came in and told me that he just told me that our dishwasher is the devil, and it's like I've never hated a home appliance the way I hate this thing, and it's constantly fritzing. I hate it. Anyway, so he's like, we're both done with this thing, right? And so he oh, by the way, primer was the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow, right? Yeah, and then this is the Armani Neo Nude True to Skin Natural Glow Foundation in 5.5. This matches me when I'm tan. It also blends down like beautifully. Yeah, so now we can't find one of the screws because it was on the island, which is like the most used surface in all of the house, and it wasn't on or in anything. So I'm just like, I don't really know what to tell you. There's like so much stuff. I wish I could tell you. There's so much stuff, and it's not like I'm like some secret like business empire person. It's just like so much of my life I'm not allowed to talk about because of like, you know, kid stuff or why I do or don't do shit. It's really annoying because it like would help you understand why, you know, like I think about this when I write a vlog, and like last week's vlog when it was like 2 days. It's 2 days for a reason. It's 2 days because I either can't show you or because it was really fucking stressful. And that was last week, where it was just one of those weeks where, and I find it to be consistently weeks with expectations on them. So it's weeks where, like, for example, the oldest's birthday, and so we don't have them for whatever reason, which doesn't make any sense, but like that's neither here nor there, right? We didn't have her on her actual birthday, so what
you up to?
Filming.
Cool.
All right, so this is the Clay de Peau. I think the only thing that's really changed, well, no, some of the stuff has changed. Okay, this is the Clay de Peau concealer in ivory. I have ochre as well. I just, because of the Neo Nude, I find myself not using ochre. And it's also because I haven't been out, like it's not summer yet, right? So like I haven't gotten like significantly tanner. So yeah, so just to kind of give me some dimension, and also to, if I don't self tan, I need to kind of cool down the 5.5 a little bit because it's like real, Armani's coloring is bizarre. I just, you know, it's a real pain in my ass. Just make a fucking consistent color. Just like, if it's a 5.5, make it 5.5 and everything. Why is this a problem in 2021? You know what I mean? Just like figure your shit out. We're all busy. Just make it easy for us, please. Go back to last week. Anytime there's like expectations on the week, right? So for example, we didn't have her for her birthday, so I wanted to do like a lot for it, just to make her feel special and loved and, you know, all that. So Rona, so you just like can't do a traditional party. And I know there are tons of people out there that are doing that for some idiotic reason, but we're not doing that because we don't want to die. And yeah, and so I just I put a lot of pressure on myself because that's my nature, that's what I do. I am not going to apologize for that. I'm also not going to change because I don't view that as a negative thing. I don't really care if it's inconvenient or if I need to chill or what. I don't care. But yeah, and then it just kind of compounds into this, nobody's listening. I've repeated, and I fucking hate repeating myself multiple times because I feel like I'm nagging, or I feel like I'm not being heard, so then why am I bothering? You know what I mean? It's one of those things. And that's just been like a big trend lately. And I know everybody's just like doing their own thing and distracted and busy, but it's still like, if you ever want to piss me off, the 2 ways to piss me off like real hard, besides like animal cruelty, disrespectfulness and lack of gratitude. Just bypass. I got a pretty decent fuse. Bypasses the whole thing. Ooh, lights me up. So, yeah. So that's just kind of how it's been. And it's been a lot of like, I'm not allowed to say what I would like to say because it's... And it's just really hard. It's just really hard. And it's also just like tough to watch. How do I say this without getting in trouble? Being a stepmom that really gives a fuck is the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and it will be the hardest thing I ever do in my whole life. I can already tell, because it's constant. It's constant and it's thankless, and you're always gonna lose, but you show up every day anyway. It is. And you actually have people like rooting for you to fail, which is like crazy fucked up. You know what I mean? And it's so wildly unproductive. And you can hardly defend yourself without like getting in hot water. Like I can defend myself to Jeremy, but I can't defend myself to like, you know, or provide context or anything like that. It's just like, oof. So you just kind of find yourself, sorry, my allergies are like out of control lately. So then you find yourself, if you're anything like me, finding solace in the things that you can do, right? The things that you can control and you can, and it's not necessarily like a control thing. It's not like I don't need to control a child or whatever. It's more of just like, I don't have input that I'm going to disagree with, right? It's that. It's just, this is something that I can find some peace in. And that's been a lot lately. And then I get pissed off when like this sounds so petty, but it really hurts me. I have busted my ass changing out the gardens, right? And like really trying to make it beautiful. And he won't even call it what it is. And that just lights me up, because it's a fucking name. Just call it what it is. But it's like, you know that space? I'm like, no. And I know that's so trivial, but like, ugh. And I think I'm just pissy in general because I feel it's just like a compounded thing. But, oh, sorry. The powder is the Sicily powder that I've used forever. I use that, my apologies. I use that to bake kind of like down here where it doesn't need to be as bright. And then I've been using the Coty Airspun in Naturally Neutral to kind of cook this part, bake, whatever you want to call it, this part, because I like how it's a little bit brighter, but also stays really well and it ages well and it's dirt cheap. But I find that as I'm like lighter skinned, like I'm like real fair for me, this helps give me some dimension and some contrast without looking like Drag Race, you know? It's also just easy because at the end of the day, like I'm really kind of reluctant to like, you can't go anywhere and buy any makeup, right? So like I can't go into Nordstrom and play. So I just am being real choosy with what I decide to experiment with. Yeah. So the bronzer is the bronzer I've used forever. It's the Givenchy La Saison and Eau for Excellente. And then something else I've noticed is I've got this little like sore. It's like sore. But you don't really see it, but I can feel it, and it's like right underneath my underarm, by my like boob, like right at that, like where the, you know, that this like lift part is, you know what I'm talking about, like that curve. It's that. I don't know why I did that. It, you know, boob underarm. So like in that's like behind it a little bit, like closer to the underarm. I have it. Well, no, not even. It's like right there in the middle. Yeah, like you can grab it. I have it hurts, it's like sore. And I can't tell what it is. And it's freaking me out because it's like in a spot where I'm like, oh fuck, is that breast cancer? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to think that way, but at the same time, I don't want to be dumb. So I want to go get that checked out once it's like safe for me to go to a doctor. This brush is the Sephora Pro Featherweight Fan 92. They've had it for a very long time. I have no idea if they still make it. If they don't, any large fan brush is perfect. You don't want the skinny ones, like you want one that's like, I mean, granted, this was like this when I bought it, but like you want something that can get fluffy. I have used this for bronzers. I used it with bronzer when I was a pro. I use it forever, and I do it because you can get the perimeters of your face really well, and then you can blend it down and diffuse it into like the parts that aren't bronzed, so it's not like a chunk of bronzer. It like actually goes to the slopes of your face. This looks really harsh on camera. It does not look harsh in real life. This looks really harsh on camera. Give it a second, it'll warm up, it'll be okay. So this week I am doing all kinds of, you know, this week I'm doing a lot. I'm doing spring cleaning. I'm trying to, you know, make some headway on other goals. I'm doing all kinds of things. Because I recognize that tomorrow's the last week of March, which is like kind of nuts. Not tomorrow, next week. I'm not making any sense. I said annual in my Butler's Pantry video when I meant to say monthly, and I didn't even see it in editing, and I was just like, oh my god, distracted. I don't know. I was talking to my friend about this, my friend Beth about this, and I think we're all going through this year of Rona, no matter how you took it, right? There are some people that like haven't stopped. I know people that haven't stopped doing life. Like they just take the hit. And, you know, we can't obviously do that, but like, I think depending on how and obviously it varies with, you know, the intensity of your reaction, but like depending, this is the Charlotte Tilbury Sophisticate palette. This is the top, this kind of neutral mid-tone brown. I think kind of depending on how you've handled the pandemic, and I don't mean that in like, you know, did you learn a language? I mean that in like, did you actually like abide by, you know, CDC guidelines? Because you're really starting to feel, at least I am, and I know everybody I talk to is really feeling a full year unlived. At least for me, the kind of like place that I'm in is one of, it's this weird feeling of, I feel like we're almost out of it, right? Because you're saying like July 1st or July 4th, you're supposed to have like enough normalcy to where you could have a cookout if you wanted, you know, which is like amazing. Because we normally are like totally those people, and we didn't do it at all last year, and we like, you go through it, right? And then, so I'm kind of in now like, oh, hope, you know, it's coming. We're towards the finish line. And it's spring, so there's just that sense of renewal in general, that like, things are coming. It's like that metaphorical things are coming up, you know, rebirth, all that kind of stuff. And then it's also just when you come up for air and you feel like you might be on stable ground, what is the next step you take? Like, what do you do? Because everything's changed. Like, you are different than you were a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you're not, like, wow. Because I don't know anybody who's like totally unaffected, you know. Granted, I do live in America, and so like it's been a lot of it mismanaged for the majority of it. So we have some trauma. Okay, so real quick, I want to talk to you about this because this is new to me. I haul this whenever I haul this. The iconic illuminating drops. Here's my solution. So I've tried just dotting them and blending them. I don't like that. I feel like it moves more. So my solution is I dot it and then I leave it like for a few minutes. So I dot it, and now I'm going to go over with my, I didn't tell you what this was. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic Swish and Pop Blusher in Ecstasy. It looks like that. Sorry. I'm actually going to put a little bit more on. But yeah, so I dot that illuminator, and then I just leave it, and I kind of let it dry down a little bit, and that way it doesn't move as much. And I only want my highlighter concentrated where I put it, you know. Like, I don't like it on my cheekbones because I've got a pretty round face, and all it does is make it look rounder. So I put it down my nose a little bit, on my Cupid's bow, and then my inner corners. Yeah, okay, so what's it? Brows. My brow product is Louboutin, still, Louboutin, blonde brow pencil. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Still my favorite. yeah, so I don't know. I'm in this kind of like, it's not defeated. It's also not, it's almost like you're so fatigued from it that you're like real quick to frustration. And because you can see the finish line, so whenever anything like negative happens, you're just like, oh my God, I'm so close. Does that make sense? Where you're just kind of like, I just want to be okay. I just want some normalcy. I want some fucking balance again. Like I want all that. And we've been through it. So I feel like because we're closer to the end, it feels like it's hurting more or it's like impacting me more. I don't know. But yeah. I have like I'm just like kind of very low tolerance for excuses or, you know, whatever. It's just like, it's just tough. It's just been tough for everybody. So it's like, okay, why are you making it tough? Like, why would you make it tougher for somebody when it's already been tough for them? Like, that's just cruel, you know? Okay, so my trick with the Louboutin brow pencil, you have to sharpen this thing literally every single time you use it, just so you know. Like, don't think you can like write it out. You can't. Your brows are gonna look jacked. But so my eyebrows are kind of weird. I remember when I had my old channel, I used to do this a lot. I still kind of do. People are like, why do you do that face when you do your eyebrows? Because I can't see in the front of them. They're blonde. That's why. Because that actually helps illuminate the front. So then I can draw the line that I want to draw. So yeah, so I don't necessarily do that a ton anymore because as I've gotten older, the pigment of my eyebrows has changed. So I also have a scar here now, so it kind of helps me in a weird way see it. I can't wait to get that dealt with. That'll be great. Yeah, okay, so then I had accidentally touched it, so I just kind of buffed it out. But you kind of see how it illuminates the top of my upper lip, so it makes it look fuller and like a little like, almost like plumped, like, you know? Yeah. Okay, and then I just draw straight, and I mean, I'm not like super duper fussy with my eyebrows because I have really coarse hair, and like, they just kind of, I just need to fill them in more than anything. I do fill out my tail and like the arch a little bit because aging just kind of thins you out. Plus, like, you know, just because it's the right shape of your eyebrow for your face doesn't mean that's the eyebrow shape that you were born with, right? So yeah. Okay. But I will tell you, what I love about this product is that if you are like me, where you have really coarse hair and you don't have the hair like up at the top of my tail, like here, I kind of extend that out. It does a really good job of like blending skin to hair. Like that's a tall order, and it does a good job of that. So like if I have to sharpen it every day and I burn through it a little quicker, I'm fine with that. And then occasionally, because especially like today where I'm just kind of like, I've got a lot to do. So I'll pat to make sure that my skin is in fact like dry. Because I just got out of the shower and I self-tanned and I'm getting ready and I'm hot because I'm doing stuff. So it's like, you gotta kind of check, you know? I think that's the other thing is like, that lack of peace, that lack of calm. Like when everybody's home, they're constantly generating work to be done. So I feel like I keep doing the same stuff, and then you feel like you're a hamster, like you're on the hamster wheel. Or it's like, why have I done this 3 times this week or 3 times today? And I still have to do it again. Like, that's infuriating. Because then it's just like, why the hell do I bother? That's kind of the state that I've been in a lot. Brows are done, and then I just brush them up. Not like whatever they call it now, fluffy soap brow, whatever. It's not soap brow because you have to use soap. But like that fluffy brow thing, I don't really do that because I'm not 23. And it just doesn't look right on me. No disrespect if you are 23, live your life, like be 23, but I'm not. Okay. And I've said this for 15 years, but get yourself one of these brushes. This is an old ass crown brush from like literally 12 years ago. But it's got this little like I call it a bullet brush. I know that's not what it's called, but that's what I call it. It's got this little tip on it. It's real stiff. It's like it does move, but it's generally just holds its shape really well. I love it for precision work. So I love it for any type of inner corner, or if you have a second one, you want to like real smudge out your lower line, you totally could, you know, but it is like ideal for your inner corner. And yeah, love it, love it, love it. So I just kind of go in and I just buff out that inner corner. And I mean, like, and by buff out, I just mean like press it into the skin and get it exactly where I want it, you know? So it doesn't just look like a dot. But I did this makeup the other day on Instagram stories. They barely post. I should fix that. But I got enough stuff to do right now. But yeah, so I like trying to care more about stories than post because that's what people pay attention to. And if I'm gonna do it, I might as well like get some use out of it, right? But yeah, so I did my makeup and I was watching this Vice documentary and I was talking about it, and the amount of people that were like, your highlight or whatever, I was like, your makeup, and I was just cracking up because I'm like talking about the financial crisis documentary and people were like, oh my god, your highlight, and it just made me laugh. Okay, so that's it. Like, it's not overly done, but it is there, right? That's what I do like about this, is it's like pigmented, but it doesn't fly if you let it dry down some. It's great. Okay, so eyeshadow, I'm gonna do this iconic London, what is it called, a Nice to Naughty eyeshadow palette. I'm a big cocktailer. I've said this before. I hardly ever just use one shade. So I'm gonna mix some shades. I'm gonna mix Rose Gold and Toasted. Rose, Toasted. I'm like an old school artist. I was taught with like Kevin Aquan and NARS, so it's like fingers, all fingers. You'd be amazed at how often. Okay, so then today I have to go do a curbside pickup because I'm trying to work on my house. That's okay, so that's something else I want to talk about. Well, I like pretty, and it like takes 2 seconds. And it's like nice and springy, you know? But so I think part of me trying to like find some purpose and some value, that's something else I'm, you know, kind of struggling with, is just like, how do you find value when like the whole world's been taken away from you? You know what I mean? And I'm somebody who really does well with human connection and like all of that. And I miss having that moment with my clients. I really do miss being a makeup artist. I miss empowering women and making them feel a certain way. And just, I got an email yesterday that like almost made me cry. And this woman emailed me, I know I'm all over the place, I'm sorry. This girl emailed me and she said, I did her makeup like 6 or 7 years ago. And she said, I loved the way you made me feel. And I felt so confident and so beautiful. And so she found me like on my website. But I haven't talked to her in, you know, 6, 7 years, right? So I'm like, it took some work. But so she reached out and she said like, you know, her life has changed a lot. And so she's kind of lost that feeling, and she wanted to see if if that's one of the services that I offer, like makeup coaching. And I said, yeah. But I responded to her, but it was that thing of like, my favorite part of having done makeup for so long, and my favorite part about what I do now, and it's why I do what I do now, is I love reminding people or maybe just telling them for the first time that they are completely capable and worth it and confident, and like showing them confidence in a way that like I don't think any woman has ever fully passed the need to feel beautiful. You know, like that's just how we are. That's how society has programmed us. That's how our parents have I mean, that's how everybody's programmed us, right? Like beauty is a thing that you aspire to have. And anyway, so she had emailed me and I was reading it and I was just like, you know, that was another day at work for me. But I show up, especially then when I was doing it a ton, like you show up every day, at least I did, intending to, I get the gift of this. Like it's a gift to be able to do that, right? And it was so nice to see somebody like reach out after all that time and know that you landed with them. You know, it's just made me feel real good. I'm glad I didn't put on eyeliner yet. And I just miss that. You know, I miss having that like value and that purpose. Not that I don't have value or purpose, but like I miss having I really love connecting with people, especially with women, or like anybody who just needs to know you know, you're beautiful, you're good, dude, I got you. I miss that. I think that's why I get so pissed off with the garden, because I just feel like that's my new version of that, right? Like I get to create beauty, and like I did that, you know, like look at what I did, and to not have it taken, I guess, treated with the respect that you know, and they kind of like, wow, or just leave it alone. Like one of the two, I don't care, but like, I don't know. I think that's why it really bothers me. Okay, I'm gonna give this a moment. I'm gonna pat this down. This is good. This is good makeup tips for y'all. Don't wipe. Don't wipe. Don't wipe. Just kind of smudge. Just like real gently. Just tap. And almost like smudge. That's all you gotta do. It's okay. I've done a whole lot of brides. Okay, I'm so sorry about my allergies. I say that to my clients like all the time. I'm so sorry. You can hear me breathe, and like I can't do it. I mean, I'm binging on Zyrtec. I'm trying as hard as I can. I can't go to a doctor. And the teledoc appointment I have with migraines traumatized me. Okay, so something I've been doing a lot lately. Although honestly, I don't know if you've seen it as much because I haven't been vlogging like super consistently. But I take a lip liner that I don't want to wear on my lips, like a brown, right? I can't pull off a brown. This is Velvet Sands by Vive. I think I bought this at the end of last year, whenever it launched. I just got I just got the two lip liners from her. So I got this brown, and it's like, it doesn't work on me at all, but it's great for shadow creation. So if you're wanting to like, this is like a nice hack if you want to like look like you have fuller lips without getting filler. Take like a taupey brown, depending on your skin type really, or your skin tone rather. The shade will change, but like this is Velvet Sands. If you haven't done this before, you might want to do this. If you have done it, or if you're more comfortable with this, because I'm more comfortable with this, I go right here. Basically, you see that where it's almost like the lip just naturally creates that shadow, right? You want to enhance that. So just don't crayon it on like a 3-year-old, but just do that. Don't bring it down like your actual dimple or your frowning expression would be. You want to take it up, but not all the way, right? You don't want to take it all the way up to the corner of your lip. Just enough to like get the shape pronounced. And again, gently, literally maybe on the angle. Like that's what I do, where it's just like a little bit on that side, so it's softer. You can always build it. And then I do that to make sure that the line is symmetrical. Because I have, like a lot of folks, I have like some asymmetry with how my muscles pull. So one side of my mouth can look like this side of my lip can look a little thinner than this one, like real easily. So I have to make sure that when I'm drawing on my lip liner, I really try to balance it so it looks symmetrical. It's one thing if like through expression it kind of comes up more or whatever, but like just, you know, blank face, you wanna help yourself out, right? Yeah, just like that. Okay, top lip, same thing. That top shadow. And don't take it all the way down. Just carve out. If you're like me and your like lips just bleach out into your skin when you're doing your makeup, this is great because it kind of puts your features back on your face. So obviously this looks insane. Take your brush, take your like, oh, that's not what I want. Take your crease brush where I just did that like taupey color. I just kind of tap it on the side of my hand real quick just so I don't have like a ton of eyeshadow on my face. and buff. Now, when you're buffing, don't buff down. Don't buff up. Buff towards the lip. Depending on which direction you come from the top. If you're from the bottom rather, go up. If you're from the top, go down. But like this side, you know, you get my drift, right? Like you want to go towards the lip. So this is something that I started doing because I was helping a client whose lip filler has been on the decline. And I was doing a makeup class with her. I had a session with her and she was like, this is a weird thing to be upset about, but like, what do I do? Because I can't go get lip filler right now because she's in the same boat that I'm in. And I said, oh, let me tell you a trick. And then I was telling her, I was like, you know, I haven't done that in forever. I'm gonna start doing that too. And so I do. But yeah, so you just see, it's like, I mean, obviously I don't have any other lip products on, but you just kind of see how your lips are at least outlined, right? And it doesn't look crazy, especially once all your makeup's on. It doesn't look crazy at all. Okay, so then I'm gonna take Super Size Me by Charlotte Tilbury, which is like my go-to like neutral lip liner. And I just draw in my lips. Okay, so see how that brown's on the outside of my mouth? So this looks crazy. But my bottom lip, I did this on purpose. My bottom lip, do you see how I just have that little bit of shade there? It just kind of like pulls the lip a little bit, almost, right? Like visually, not like actually, but you know what I mean? Okay, so that's like a rough outline, right? That's just like my first kind of go. I haven't put lipstick on yet, but there you go. It just gives you like a mouth, right? And that way you have a fuller, I mean, it looks fuller. I'm gonna do eyeliner now that my eyes are dry. And my eyeliner of choice, because for some reason I can't find my Dior one. It drives me nuts. Anyway, I'm gonna use the Feeling Flick from Charlotte Tilbury. I hauled this, I don't remember, maybe January? But I just press it, it's real stiff. So I just kind of press it real thin. You can easily build this up, but like, well, we'll see. We'll see what my mood, we'll see. I always say one thing and then wind up doing something different once I get going. Easy. Nothing terribly difficult. Same thing here, just kind of tap it in. If you don't want like a really thick line, just tap your lash line and then kind of build it from there. Like everybody calls them different dashes, whatever. Just kind of tap it and then you build it up to where you feel a little bit more comfortable, right? You're like more in control. Let me tell you how excited I am about what I'm growing. This is, it's like the part of the garden. Like winter, thank God for Christmas, because like that was what was distracting me. But I'm so glad to be in my second year of gardening because I feel like I've got more room to play. Like I have a little bit more of a knowledge base. And I did a lot last year for somebody who was brand new. So because I was just kind of constantly trying, I learned a lot quicker, you know? Because this is like, this was like my big hobby. I mean, it still like hugely is, but like I was so happy when it was time to start planting. And I don't start my seeds indoors because I don't have space to, but I have the luxury of living in a mild enough climate that I can start them outside and they just get, you know, sometimes it sucks, sometimes it's great. But yeah, and it's just really awesome because I'm at a point where you're starting to see stuff really come up. You know, not just the little seedlings, but like, I mean, I have those too with like tomatoes and peppers and stuff and herbs, but like my cauliflower, my flowers, my ranunculus and my anemones are at the halfway point with their life cycle. So like they're halfway to harvest. And what that means in the process of growing them, and this is why I love gardening. It's like one of my favorite parts about gardening is like every day matters, right? Like if you are somebody that struggles with showing up every day, plant something, because every day it matters. Like they're at that point where like every day they're a little taller, they're a little bigger, you know what I mean? You're constantly kind of checking on them, but you really see it. And if you are somebody who struggles with the journey, you know, and struggles with like finding value in the process, I can't think of a better hobby to help you with that, because it really does. You just learn. There's so much to learn, not just about the actual, you know, act of gardening and like how to grow stuff, but about yourself. You learn a ton about yourself. It's been the most, like, for something I did not at all plan for, it is the most fulfilling thing for me to do. I mean, it really is. And it's just whenever I feel low or tired or frustrated or just not great, I go out there and I spend 10-15 minutes just walking around and, you know, checking on everything and kind of getting an idea of what's next and how's everybody doing, and it just makes you feel so much better. You know what I mean? It kind of peps you back up. It's like, not to get like hokey, but you water the garden and the garden waters you, you know? And I'm so glad, I'm telling you, I am so glad I started last year and I've made those big goals for this year, because I can already see just having so much more isn't a burden to me. It's like more time to feel that way. You know, this is a terrible time to pause and talk to you directly, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just like, oh, I love it. I love it. I really do. There's more time to be out there and just kind of admiring, and it's a nurturing act. There's no question about that. You're nurturing life, you know, and it's just I think for me, I get to nurture even more. And I think that's where I'd like to circle back to what I was talking at the beginning. I have very little executive decision making, right? And so, it's a wonderful antidote to feeling entirely helpless. And like, I don't get to make any of the decisions, but I absolutely deal with the consequences. Gardening is a wonderful antidote to feeling like that. Yeah, I guess to put it even simpler, like I'm responsible for it. You know, and I very much enjoy having responsibility for things. I like having to take care of things. I like having ownership over things. I don't shy away from that stuff at all. So I think I get a little mopey this time of the year because I can sense Mother's Day is coming, and I always get really blue on Mother's Day. And I've noticed that like every year that passes, I struggle earlier and earlier. Like I noticed this year, it started in March. And last year, it started in probably like 2 weeks before. So it's like jumped big. And I don't know if maybe it's because of Rona. I think it's because of Rona. Like I'm not as distracted because I'm not out. You know, like I'm not having to like physically go and accomplish things out of the house and deal with other people. So I think maybe it's that. That's what I'm hoping it is, because otherwise, like, shit, it's gonna suck in like 5 years when it's year round. But I'd like to not think like that. Okay, so this is the Vacation Lashes from Bellamy. And this is just the good old Duo green brush on adhesive. I can't believe it's been a year without lash extensions and a year without nails. That's nuts. I mean, I know I like found somewhat solutions, but like still, it's nuts. Although I will tell you, these lashes hold up crazy well. Like they are by far the most durable lashes I've ever worn, because I literally I bought them, I don't know, first half of January maybe. I get like a month out of almost. Well, I don't wear them every single day, so I get like 2 weeks out of a pair then, I guess, if you were to daily it. But I get like a ton of wear out of these things. It's phenomenal. And for the price, it's like, Jesus. They're not $40 each. They're like $12. It's awesome. Okay, so while these are drying, that's my time to put on lipstick. I'm going to wear a 1-2 punch combo because of course. These are Kylie. One is the Kylie Snow Way Bay, which is like my version of a nude. And then this is Ochre, which is like this beautiful bold strawberry. I have probably used 4 of them completely. I like love it. Love it. I always feel so bad when somebody asks me for my lip comp. They're like, what lipstick are you wearing? I'm like, 4. And then, so here's my thing. If you're gonna use like a matte, especially like a Kylie matte where it like dries quick, I dot it on like I just did, like fast, right? And then I use my finger. Because if you're not gonna use the doe foot, it can get messy. But I try really hard when I blend. I try to blend, like if I'm gonna do up here, I do up there too. Like I try to blend the parts of my mouth symmetrically because I feel like it augments how it dries down and like the actual color payoff and how well blended it is. And so just to kind of mitigate any like disparity between the two sides, I just try to, you know what I mean? I just try to like, okay, if I'm gonna do this part, I match it. Yeah, but like, isn't that pretty? I like it because it's like punchy, but not like, it's like a little bit more muted version of the Ochre, which is kind of great for like this time of the year. Love, 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 love. Okay, so then now we do lashes, which for me, I need to hurry up because this lash is like damn near dry. You hear the birds out there? God, it's like such a wonderful feeling. Just to go out there first thing, that's what I do. I go out there first thing in the morning, after I make my coffee, before I do anything else. I give Adelaide her bone and her glucosamine, and then I go out there, and it just feels amazing. To you just checking on your little plants, see how everything's coming up, and then you listen to the birds. It makes me want to like, you kind of feel yourself getting older, you know, because you're like, oh, I'm turning into a grandma. But I love it. But it makes me want to be like, okay, how do I take care of the birds? The oldest very briefly was interested in that. So we have a bird. We have like some stuff, you know, we got her some stuff back when she was into it, which was like over a year ago. So I have like I think I've got a couple bird houses, at least 2. So I need to look into, do y'all do that? Do y'all have advice you want to give me? Because I want to know, I want to attract more. I'm really good at attracting pollinators with the garden. So I'd love to attract, because they're just so pretty. They sound so pretty, you know? It's nice. It's nice. They've definitely gotten into some fertilizer over the winter, which is fine, because like, I get it. They're trying to eat. They've got into some bird seed too. This was like a while back though. We had bird seed out in the backyard. I think one of the kids put it out there, and I went out there one day and I was like, his bag had been like poked way open. It was really funny to me. I'm like, well, at least I found it and they were able to get into it. Like I don't really care how you eat as long as you ate. And honestly, I didn't even realize we had it. Otherwise I would have done it myself. But like, you know how it is. You just get going and you're like, oh, I totally forgot we briefly did a stint as bird people. So I should probably take that more seriously. But yeah. Okay. So this is makeup. Forgive my hair. The humidity, the roots. I've got very coarse, thick hair, long hair. So like, this is not ideal weather for it. So we're just kind of doing the best we can. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the time to rewrite anything. We just cope. So yeah, that we can do better than that though. That's just crazy. I don't need to be Sebastian Bach. I made dinner and dessert for some vaccinators. We have these 2 people in our neighborhood that have basically like pledged their like daily lives to vaccinating people, especially like high risk people, and just like getting to them, you know, like it's awesome what they're doing. And so I joined this meal train and I brought them lasagna and banana bread, and it just made me so happy. And so tonight I'm making sour cream chicken enchiladas, and I told Jeremy, okay, we're gonna try 2 different types of enchiladas this week from scratch, and I want your feedback, because if they're delicious, I want to know, and if they like reheat well, as I'll make that next time I do it. Gardening, casseroles, birds. I got back problems. I'm like 70 years old. This is about how we're gonna run today. That is. Yeah, so this is about how we're gonna run today. I'm gonna get dressed and I'm gonna go do the curbside and get to work. But thanks so much for hanging out with me. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Sorry for being so spastic on it. I haven't done a get ready with me in a while, and I don't do them super duper often, so I'm kind of out of practice. But anyway, I hope you liked it, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye.